And how this happened, and a few people know about this, is the fact that Sister Raymunde and Father Casassa were at a meeting of some sort. And he said to her, have you ever thought of being co-educational? And she said, no. But she said, have you thought of being Loyola, being co-educational? And he said, I talked to the Cardinal about it, but he said, no way, there to remain a men's school. Sister Raymunde, being from the north of Ireland, of course, said, do you mind if I go talk to the Cardinal? So he said, no, help yourself. So I drove her downtown, and she went into the office and just came out sort of looking amazed. I said, what happened? And she said, he said that we cannot be co-educational. That means men and women in the same classroom. But we can be co-institutional. We can have two institutions on the same piece of property. So that was fine. And so they talked about it, and there are pictures all over the campus that show the two of them talking, and they're both in doubt about what the heck this means, you know. So 5 years, Marymount College, Loyola University. Raymunde was president, I was vice president. Marymount moves its four-year program to the Westchester campus. And that's when the Levy's built the building for us. And we had the Levy dormitories, and we had Trudy Kretschmar's mother built the Tendrick Hall dormitories. It was all the women. So from 68 until 73, we operated as two separate colleges. I was academic dean with Father Terry Mahan, who was a Jesuit, and it was really interesting. What happened was they began to affiliate and merge more than, you know, the students decided this is silly, you know, two separate schools. We operated that way, and I was the only sister on the committee of 5 men and myself who worked on the first legal merger of two academic schools in the United States. And it was extraordinary because nobody lost a job. Both colleges came together. It was the first place, and this had never happened before in the United States. And we became Loyola Marymount University in 1973. And one of the hardest things was what the name of it was going to be, because they wanted it to be Marymount College of Loyola University. And Sister Raymunde, being north of Ireland and tougher than most Irish, she said, Renee, no Marymount, no merger. Meaning, if it isn't Loyola Marymount University, we're not going to do it. And I'm the one that had to go back and argue with them. It was the most extraordinary thing. Now, at the same time, Mother Felix and the work that we were doing with the nuns in Orange, they came on campus with us. So we got some theater arts and that. So living in Levy Center, we had about 30, 35 religious, and they were either Marymount Sisters or Sisters of St. Joseph, living in that building. And it was really a wonderful thing. One of the kind of interesting things was Father Mike Eng. He's the president of Santa Clara right now. he was interviewing Sister Raymunde, and he said, you know, how are the religious communities getting on? You know, how are the men and women and all of that? She said, in her Irish, she said, well, Mary and Joseph are getting on fine. We're having a little trouble with Jesus, being the Jesuits. You know. So anyway, the murder took place in '73, and for 10 years I was vice president, and anything Father Merrifield didn't want to do, he gave me to do. And it was, you know, we had to have women's sports, women's activities, sororities, because they had fraternities, service groups, on and on and on, so that there were equal opportunities for women and men on this one piece of property. Over the years, Sister Joan Tracy was a provost, Sister Mary Milligan was a provost. We're the only two huge universities in the United States who have merged. Another interesting factor is we had 3 women's colleges out here in California. There was Immaculate Heart, Mount St. Mary's, and Marymount. And then there was Loyola. And Mount St. Mary's and Immaculate Heart had tried to do different things. But when the Cardinal and the Immaculate Heart sisters had a little back and forth, I said, if you have to close the college, bring all your programs over here. So many of the programs we have are still headed by people from Immaculate Heart. So the only all-women's college in Los Angeles is still Mount St. Mary's, which is over in Westwood. One question people ask me is about the Marymount Center. I was concerned that there be a visible place for Marymount, some place where you'd say, oh, that reminds me of it. And so I started the Marymount Center, and of course, Dorothy and Tom Levy, Farmers Insurance people, gave us the money, gave us $1 million, and we've talked a little bit about this. And I wanted a place that was open to all people, but had the Marymount tradition. So up there we have pictures of the founders, of the sisters, of the things, and I designed this piece of paper which says, welcome to the Marymount Center for Faith, Culture, and the Arts, and it's open to faculty, to students, staff, anybody, all diversity, all religions, all traditions, and it's meant to bring peace and healing to all, and to be a visible presence of Religious of the Sacred Heart of Mary on this campus. Then when we brought the Sisters of St. Joseph with us, it occurred to me that we need a place, a visible place, for the Sisters of St. Joseph. So we had this president who had been head of our law school for many years, Dave Bertram, and there was a place that he used before he became president on the 3rd floor. And I said, Dave, is there any possibility you could give that to the Sisters of St. Joseph so they'd have a visual presence? So today on the 3rd floor is the St. Joseph Center for Religion and Spirituality, and the Marymount Center is on the 4th floor, where there are visual images. Because if you have alums who come back, they want to know, well, where are you? You know, where's Marymount? Where's this and that? And so it really, truly was a challenge. That in 2008, the Campus Ministry Center on the main campus was named after Sister Peg Dolan, R.S.H.M. She was wonderful. When she left the principalship in Santa Barbara, at the high school there, I said, Sister Peg, please come and be at Loyola Marymount. And she was extraordinary. We entered religious life, and in those there were, I think, 43 of us or something in Tarrytown, and they lined us up according to age, you know, and Peg was right next to me. So we were meant to be very close over the years. So we've had Jesuit presidents over the years. We had Dave Bertram, who was the head of the law school, and now we have a gentleman, I have to write it down always, Timothy Law Snyder, who is very sensitive to the religious spirit and background of, the place. But it's so strange not to have a Jesuit leading us.
When you take a look at the whole good trip,
Mm-hmm.
what is most satisfying for you
Mm-hmm.
to have done?
I think the most satisfying thing is to have been there to make a difference in people's lives. You know, whether it was a young man in 5th grade or a young woman in 8th grade, or I'm in touch with people, which is really, really amazing, that I've known for 40 or 50 years. And some of them call me Sister Renee, some of them call me Dr. Renee, some of them call me Renee, some, you know, they call me. And it's, you don't lose them. And I've often thought, probably my 2 favorite areas in life are medicine and education. You know, people who are in those areas working for others